Hey guys, this is Roadstead to Homestead, and we want to talk a little bit about how we got here to this fifth wheel. And some of you have seen our channel on Mary Dragoon, which is the name of the channel, and you've seen our tiny house build. I built the house on YouTube called Tiny House for Under 5,000, and I did it in 2012. And there's been a lot of questions on that channel about why we gave the house away, or what we're doing now, and updates, because it's been years since we've had any real updates. And I want to kind of connect the tiny house to the fifth wheel where we are now. So what we're going to do is spend a little time talking about how we got to where we are. Anything you want to add to that?
Not really. I mean, it's like, why are we here? Why did we give it away?
We went from her being in nursing school to being a full-blown nurse during that time too, and she'll spend some time talking about all that. So what you guys are going to see here, this is a brief synopsis of where we were. This is the camper, and I'm going to let her tell you about that.
He mentioned building a tiny house and was like, but we can't afford to buy one. So I was like, I went on Craigslist and found this camper for $200.
Needless to say, I was surprised. I was working at Lowe's, and I came home, and she was like, let's go get this camper. And we went and got it, and I started work right away. I went ahead and started tearing it down, and the plan was to use just the frame underneath, which you can see here, and it had 7,500-pound axles on it, which a lot of people on the tiny house video was saying it was too heavy and all that. It's not. The frame's fit for the house when I was done. We built the deck on top and let the kids help me, and we ended up with a flatbed, which you can see there. And the construction time on the tiny house took a full year. So these photographs that you're seeing go through one whole year of our lives.
It's my last year of nursing school. I remember Daisy working on the roof, and I'm at school, and I'm like, no one's there to make sure nothing happens to you.
Right. I was on the roof. It was about 15 feet in the air, and I was up there by myself with full sheets of plywood and stuff, because I built it literally all by myself. So we put the siding on it, and I continue to work. As you can see in the pictures here, there's snow on the ground right through the wintertime. The cold weathers up in upstate New York didn't stop me.
A little heater in there.
Yeah, I ended up starting working on the wiring, you can see here, probably in November of that year, and I got it wired up so that I could get an electric heater in there and kind of keep it warm. And have lights so I can continue working. Here we moved to a friend's house.
Yeah, our friend Nathan Miles, we moved on his property. There's the camper we were living in while we were finishing our tiny house.
Yeah, we went ahead and moved from where we were renting. We were paying $750 a month in rent to this camper on 5 acres, and our friend let us live there for $150 a month, which was awesome. Thank you, Nathan. And we continued to work on the tiny house while we lived in this little camper that you see here, and it was nice. The kids had a bedroom. We
cooking.
Yeah, homeschooled. We cooked in there. We lived just like you would in any other house, while I continued working on the tiny house. And you can see here we're putting hardwood flooring in, finishing the plumbing, running gas lines, doing trim, putting on covers for electrical outlets, all the little bitty work that needed to be done, which all of that takes longer than the building. You can frame a house a lot quicker than you can finish it out. So
it's a tile floor.
Yep, this is our tile flooring, and we put the tile up. This was real stone. I stained the house. You can see there it's been stained. And all this time I was still working full time for Lowe's. In the beginning I was part-time. She was going to school part-time and working part-time. And we built this house while still working and homeschooling and all of that. So if you really want to do something, you can do it. And this was our finished product. And it was done in 2013.
Yep.
And this is the same time that she graduated nursing school.
This is her.
This is a free camper that I got on Craigslist, and there will be a link up here to a video that you guys can click if you're on PC, and it'll take you to that and show you how we got the camper. And this is what allowed us to get to where we are now. So our time in upstate New York had ended, and we were heading for Tennessee. Alright, so our time in New York had ended, and I want to talk a little bit about the 7 years that we actually spent in New York. The tiny house occupied about 1 year of that.
Yeah.
During that time in upstate New York, I learned how to hunt, how to build longbows from scratch, woodsmanship, carpentry, mechanical work, electrical, plumbing. It was a time of learning for both of us, and so I kind of went the wilderness / handyman route and spent a lot of time learning those things, while my wife
learned canning and nursing.
Nursing. She went to nursing school, so she learned how to can and how to help me with the things that I was bringing out of the woods. The deer. She's not like other wives. Actually, I'll show you a picture here of her sitting next to a bear that we butchered in the backyard, and we butchered the deer together, and we butchered all the animals. So we kind of, both of us sort of went through this process where we learned how to be self-reliant. And that's what allows us to be comfortable on the road where we are now, because if something happens, she and I both know that the two of us can sort of jump out anywhere in the middle of wherever we are and start making things happen to help us survive. So it gives us sort of confidence. So the 7 years we were in New York kind of built our confidence to where we are now. So we'll talk a little bit about our trip to Tennessee, and I'll tell you guys how that kind of all went down.
Well, this is when we got to Tennessee, I guess.
Yeah, this is our land in Tennessee that we rented. It was a 2-acre plot, and it was a small trailer, 600 square feet.
Yeah.
So really
2 bedrooms, bathroom, kitchen, living room.
Really small, and it was $350 a month. So you see in the background there, all those woods and trees. That's where the deer were coming from. Huge yard, teeny little trailer from like the 70s, maybe even the 60s. We built this playground in the backyard for the kids to play in, and we kind of used it as an opportunity to start to rebuild. When we moved there, you can see this is our living room. We were sitting on the cushions for our camper because we had nothing. And we went to Goodwill and got this couch and pillows and all of our furniture there. And then we started working on the camper.
Then we started working on the camper that we got for free.
So the plan was we were going to use this camper to help us get on the road. We knew already that we wanted to work on the road. So I started tearing the camper out. This is that bathroom. If you've seen my previous video, there's a link. If you're on PC, you can click up here and see. And I had to tear the wall out, the flooring out, everything in order to rebuild it because it had rotted. And you could just step through the floor. You can see here, the studs are all nasty and rotted out. And basically I took all that stuff out and I just started putting in new lumber where it needed it. Replacing the plywood and the flooring, the studs in the walls, and just, it took me about 6 months, and it, only because we were trying to do it cheaply, just like we did with the tiny house, the same kind of thing. If you've seen the tiny house video, you know what I mean. But it ended up costing $2,000.
It cost a lot.
It cost a lot to fix this camper.
And it was really just the bathroom.
Right, it was just the bathroom.
And I think the floor was a little soggy, but mainly just the bathroom.
Yeah, I replaced the plywood from front to back in the flooring, so it got all new plywood all the way through. You can see here's the new flooring going down. I put Swift Lock and took out the old green carpet you may have seen from the previous video. The goal was to leave it as it was as much as possible without really messing it up. And there's a video explaining all that, so you guys can check that out later. But here you can see the Swift Lock flooring. You can see how I maintained the old cabinetry, the old table, kept the old cushions. So it still had the 1970s feel when you went inside the camper, but it made it fully functional and ready. And we did something great with the camper. We met a guy at Walmart here in Bismarck a couple of weeks ago living in his van. And we had just gotten the fifth wheel that we're in now, that we're talking to you guys from, and we sold him the camper for $200. Basically, we gave it to him. So anyway, as work was going on in the camper, hunting season came around. Here's a picture of the stand.
Here's a picture of meat that we got.
There's the result. So we ended up shooting 2 deer back to back that year.
Which helped feed us through the entire winter.
Pretty much the whole winter.
We literally had stuff to give. We gave stuff away when we left, too.
Yeah, we were giving food. We were giving deer meat away when we left. So you can see here, these are butterfly steaks, and I did all of the butchering myself, and we even maintained the hive, which we still have.
Yes, we have that.
So this is old Native American tanning, and I went on the internet and read as much as I could about it, and just went out and did it, and it was a lot of work, but it worked out. The giving away phase of our lives started then. So this is my Shopsmith.
Times 2. This is the second time.
Yeah, second time we've given stuff away, and I sold it for $100, which you know that's a giveaway. These 2 quads we sold for $50. I sold my bike for $50. Basically just downsizing, preparing to fit what we had into that camper you see there and the truck. Everything had to fit because we were headed somewhere. We didn't know where yet, actually.
I think we knew we were going to North Dakota.
Did we know it was North Dakota?
I just signed the contract for North Dakota when we packed.
So now we've packed up our house and we're ready to hit the road and head out to North Dakota. And we had signed the contract, which we've talked about in previous videos, with the travel agency. Packed everything we had in that little 24-foot camper from the 70s and our old Dodge Ram truck, and we headed out to North Dakota. And we're not going to talk about the drive. There's a video about that you guys can watch. Once again, if you're on PC, you can click up here. If you're on the phone, it doesn't work the same, but check out our YouTube channel at Roadstead to Homestead, and you'll see it there, and you'll see our trip to North Dakota. So that's enough about that. So here we have arrived in Bismarck, North Dakota. This is the Capitol building.
It's the tallest building in Bismarck.
You can literally see it from just about anywhere. And we stayed in that little camper, and it was tight. So we went out every day. This is a water park.
There was a museum over by the Capitol building.
Yeah, there's a museum over by the... I don't remember the name either.
We took the kids fishing.
Spent lots of time outdoors. Because you're basically living in one room. So as much time as we could, we were out in nature doing something with the kids.
We went fishing. We took the kids. We got a pop-up camper because it gave us a little extra space. And then if we wanted to go out a little further, we had something to sleep in, not have to drag our camper off of our campsite. So we had this. It helped us to go to places like Medora.
Yeah, Theodore Roosevelt National Park. And as she said, we use the pop-up camper as a homeschool house, basically. Keep that kind of separately.
We took the kids to the Bismarck Zoo.
When you're living in a small space like that, you have to go outdoors. In our bigger RV, it's not as bad. Here's a whole herd of buffalo that we saw.
Theodore Roosevelt National Park. That was the biggest herd we've yet to see and seen. This is the Chimney Park. This was an old meat packing plant that burnt down. I don't remember how long ago.
1800s, I think.
Yeah.
This is actually a picture from Theodore Roosevelt Park. It's a 36-mile loop that you drive through the Badlands in North Dakota.
There's some wild horses.
Yeah, the horses were awesome. There was even one that got right up next to our car. You could almost reach out and touch them. And then this happened. This is our fifth wheel. And we got this for a steal. Basically, there was a lady who come into the campground, parked right next door to me, and she said, "You need to go to Capitol RV and talk to Justin."
I don't remember who she told us to talk to. She told us to talk to someone.
Talk to someone. We went down and we got this fifth wheel, and you can see it's got a huge hole in the roof. Well, the book value on it is $33,000. That's the NADA guide. With a hole in the roof, obviously, it's worth less. And it was in the garage at Capitol RV in Bismarck, North Dakota, and they needed to move it out. So they offered us to buy it for $15,500, and we have awful credit, so we couldn't buy it.
All my student loans.
Yeah, student loans. You saw how we were living before, so we were poor. And so our credit was bad. There was a lady who come into the campground, parked right next door to me, and she said, "You need to go to Capitol RV and talk to Justin."
I don't remember who she told us to talk to. She told us to talk to someone.
Talk to someone. We went down and we got this fifth wheel, and you can see it's got a huge hole in it. And what was crazy is she's making $6,500 a month.
Approximately, give or take, depending on the place I stay at.
And we still couldn't get a loan. So finally, I thought, you know what? I'm going to talk to the manager, the owner of the store. And so I called down and I got a hold of their financing manager, specialist, he's head of the whole thing. And I talked to him about who we were, and I showed him pictures of the tiny house, told him that I can fix the RV for sure, and we made a deal, and they let us pay them cash.
Here is 9 months. The first 13 weeks stay, and then my 6 weeks plus the extra 20 weeks that I'm staying.
So we were able to work out a deal with the RV owner dealership to get the RV, and it will be completely paid for in middle February. We'll own it outright. Which the whole goal has been, since the tiny house, if you look back all the way to now, is to go and pay off all of our debts. That's kind of been our goal.
Our next goal is my student loans, and then hopefully to buy a homestead and settle down.
Well, we need a truck.
All right, yeah, we need a truck in there. Sorry.
I have an old F-350, and it's got 340,000 miles or whatever on it. So
I'm convinced that the truck's gonna make it.
Oh, it's a 7.3. It'll make it.
It'll make it. I'm convinced it'll make it.
But yeah, so the next long-term goals are going to be truck
loans,
which is going to be maybe 8 to 9 months from now. Then student loans, which will be about 6 months of real hard paying on. Those will be gone. My debt, personal debt, we've worked on from the Tinyhouse building phase in 2012 up until now, and pretty much have cleared it up. So it's pretty much gone.
Yours is pretty much gone. It's mainly just my student loans.
We'll take care of her student loans and get out of debt, and then we'll be buying a homestead. So if you guys like and subscribe to our channel, we will have
us on Facebook and follow us and on Instagram.
Yep, at Roadstead to Homestead. This is just the beginning of the new journey, the new phase.
The new phase of our lives.
But you will get to watch us go from living on the road, full time in an RV, traveling the country to find the best paying nursing jobs, moving roughly every 13 weeks, to saving money, getting out of debt, and finding our homestead somewhere in the United States. And we're shooting for 50 acres or so that I can farm and grow our own food and stuff like that. So that's kind of the goal, and we're right at the tip of starting to move in that direction.
And mind you, not all the places we're going to go to are places that we're considering.
No, we're not going to go to all places we're considering. We want to see the desert. We want to see the Grand Canyon. We want to see the sequoias. We want to see the whole United States and teach our kids about our country at the same time. And while we're doing it, keep an eye out for that special spot where we want to stay for the rest of our lives. So, like I said, subscribe to our channel, like us on Facebook,